forget.
Okay.
So you surrendered to that last week?
Yes. So, I mean, to be all honest with you, like I wanted to meet today since especially since we haven't met for a month, but I don't know what my future looks like. I don't know if I'm going to have to press pause, see if I can get better and then come back. I mean, in some ways, I think that was God ordained that I didn't sign up for, everything ahead of time. I just had this uneasy feeling when I was doing that, not with you or anything about you, but just something just told me no, so, and all the plans I have for myself, getting this business up and running, I just surrendered it
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna take it, one day at a time and then figure it out. So just know that
Yep.
I want to pursue this. I'm supposed to go, just so you know, my husband won a trip to Barcelona, Spain, and that's for like the first 2 weeks in May.
Okay.
We don't know if it's going to happen. We got to get me well.
Yeah.
All the flight stuff, we don't know if it's going to happen.
Right.
So, but, so I would love for it to happen because my husband's doing really well and it's good for us.
Right.
But so that's kind of where I'm at. And I was doing the Muse consistently, and it was really helping. I think I told you I'm doing it along with that freedom that I'm doing at church.
Yes.
And yeah,
So
really, really good results.
what are you noticing is shifting by staying connected to yourself and expanding into more of you?
Well, the first thing I notice is how much like grace and compassion I give myself.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
And the
completely
second,
based on what you did before.
yeah.
Okay.
And the second thing is I noticed that, do you know how we talked about my breath? Like I'm
Yeah.
not having it where I'm like, I'm noticing it in
Ooh.
other people now.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Like even my 3.5-year-old granddaughter, when she gets upset, she goes like it's her body, reacting. And
Yeah.
before I would have just been like, no, you can't, like, no, you need to listen. And now I'm saying, how do you feel? And she said, I'm so sad. And I said, okay, well, why are you sad? Well, I don't want to go to the bathroom. Well, if you go to the bathroom, then we can go on our trip to the strawberry farm. But if you
Right.
don't go to the bathroom, we can't go to the strawberry farm because they don't have bathrooms there. Okay, I'll go, you know. So it's so cute.
But to me, that's what you described with your granddaughter. I'm hearing it's also like how you're being with yourself, of being more
Yep,
graceful and compassionate and kind with
yep,
yourself, as opposed to like you should be doing better. Like any of those old stories that I remember, like even in our first two sessions, were really loud. And I'm not saying they won't be there, but the more you're not trying to fix yourself or change yourself, and you're just connecting to what's there, they start to soften.
yeah. And my husband this morning, now this is going to sound weird. He sits out on the back porch
Hmm.
and we have all these tall pine trees. In Florida, they're totally different pine trees than they are in Illinois.
Yeah.
These are like it's a skinny pine tree and there's only like a little bit of pine at the very, I mean the uh what do you call them, the little
The
thistle
pine needle.
bristles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the needles, the pine needles, they're just at the very top of the tree.
Yeah.
And this particular tree goes up and then it kind of bends and goes over this way and there's the pine needles over here. Well, where it bends, he told me this like 6 months ago. He goes, look up there. It looks like Jesus's face. I kid you not. I'll have to send you a picture. You will crack up when you see it. The lines, it looks just like Jesus's face. And he said, Jesus is watching me.
Yes.
And so for some reason this morning I said, oh, is Jesus still up there? Because I haven't been out there in a while looking around because I, felt good to go out. And he said, yeah, he's right there. He's watching me. He said when it's raining, you can't really see it when it's wet.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what is he saying to you? Is he smiling at you? And he said, no, I've messed things up.
Mm.
I've messed up my life. So number one, it's good that he acknowledges that. For an
Exactly.
addict, that's huge
Yes, it is.
that they take. But then but then he needs to approach it the way you and I are talking about and the way Christ does. He gives us grace. And I said, well, he's forgiven your sins, past, present, and future.
Yeah.
And I said, could you do anything more that he would love you more? And he sat and I could see his eyes getting teary eyed. And he said, no.
Okay.
And I said, exactly. Shouldn't we treat ourselves the way Christ treats us? And so, like, I'm not now regurgitating what I'm doing in my own life.
Yeah.
And my husband, so this is a life challenge for both me and my husband. I mean, we're both having to work on it because
Yeah.
we grew up in churches and homes where it was performance based and
Right.
people pleasing. And that's not easy to turn that ship around, but it's possible.
Yeah. And the fact that you're able to share that tells me, does this resonate that you're like embodying that wisdom now where it just is like coming out of you as
Yeah, and
opposed to from the
I
head?
was before, but kind of more in spurts, and now it's more kind of with doing that consistently, it's kind of more consistent.
Wow. So by you showing up for yourself more consistently, that's able to come out more consistently. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Even in the pain, like I know I speak from my lived experience, that's the last thing I want to do is connect when I'm in pain because I just want it to go away.
Yeah.
The more I can be with it and not try to make it go away, the pain starts to soften and there's almost a sense of like that exhale, like, oh, okay, I can be here and I'm not going to be fixed or changed. And then it just naturally starts to soften, which is what I'm kind of hearing with you. I'm not saying the pain is going away, but your approach to it is shifting, is what I'm hearing.
It is.
So that's really huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I hear you saying that you're surrendering and just trusting in God's unfolding of like, I'm going to still do my work and still show up for me because Karen, you're the business.
Yeah.
So without you being deeply rooted, the business isn't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what if God brought all of this here for you now so that he could be like, okay, we need to fortify your foundation in yourself based on everything that's happened in your past to harness some of that energy, that power that you lost back then to use that to move you forward now. But that means we've got to slow down a little.
Right.
Does that land for you?
Yes.
So I want to make sure I'm supporting you best. Because are you just kind of putting the business part on pause for right now? Or where
Yes.
are you with it? I want to check in.
I feel like when I surrendered all that last week,
Yeah.
that's kind of how God was speaking to me, but I wasn't ready to make a decision. I'm like, wait, I don't know that I heard this right.
Yeah.
And I feel like every day,
Hmm.
um, the Lord kind of just gave me another little, like, just because you put it on pause doesn't mean it's gone. I'm like, Lord, I invested all this money. This is what I feel you've called me to do. And I felt like I heard him say, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is your calling. This is your purpose. This is what I want for you. But it's okay to take a pause
Right.
and re, you know, re, what's the word? Um,
Like recalibrate.
yeah, or whatever, just like focus on your health.
Yeah.
I've never had this is an autoimmune disorder.
Mm,
I've never had one, but I know that most every person in each of my
yeah.
groups, my betrayal groups, have autoimmune issues. It's
Yeah.
very common.
Can we are you open to looking at like what that could represent?
Yeah,
So when you think of your immune system, what is it here to do for you?
to keep you healthy and well and functioning.
Yeah, fighting off those viruses, bacteria, like anything that's like a foreign body that your body doesn't work well with.
Yeah.
So when we have an autoimmune, it's almost as if our body is fighting us. And the inflammation gets so big and so loud that we have no other choice but to bring the focus back because your bandwidth when you're in pain, and I'm get this is what I've even heard you say, is like nothing. You can't keep track of all the details. You have to stay here. So it's what I'm hearing is the focus is bringing it back to you because you are the cornerstone of what you are going to create in this world.
Yeah.
And
And I
when,
keep organizing things, even our sessions in my mind. I organize like what I want to get out of it and everything. And I keep
yeah,
pushing my agenda. And I just think God keeps saying, no, like let me push the agenda
whoa,
and just sit back and take what I give you.
yeah. And what do you
Yeah,
notice as you say that? Because that's a totally different approach than what you've been doing, from what I know.
right. Because I'm a go-getter.
Hmm.
And maybe because of all that um people pleasing in my background and performance, I've always felt like and I was always praised. That was my identity.
Right.
And, now it's it's not so much. It's um different.
Yeah. Your identity is being reshaped, I'm hearing,
Hmm.
outside of those stories of pleasing others and doing things out of obligation.
Hmm.
So I guess, did you want to circle back to anything from our last session? What would be most supportive for you as we're moving into our time?
Probably giving me ideas to move forward in my coaching, that when I feel like it, I can still move forward in that.
Okay.
That would help me the most, I feel like.
Okay. I'm hearing a little like you're like, I'm going to surrender my business, but then you're like, I want some ideas to move forward. So I just want to make sure we're moving towards what.
I'm surrendering the timing of my business
Okay.
because, to be clear, like I really was putting pressure on myself to get all this done
Yeah.
in the next 6 months. And, you know, I reconnected with a girl who she got into coaching, and she did all of her, or was doing all her practice coaching. And then she took like a year break and then came back. And then she was more ready for it. So I don't know that I want to take a year break, but the timing, I'm not pushing that agenda forward anymore. But I don't know that if you don't use it, you lose it. And I want to keep using it, even if it's like in conversation with people.
Yeah.
And I think I told you my church is going to be starting a counseling ministry to
Right.
people outside like the community. And that's where I feel led, is right here in my community. I mean, if God has me do some online, I'm not going to say no, but that's not where I feel led. I feel led here
Right.
in my community, face to face.
Yeah. And
And
keep trusting that.
yeah,
Because what you're also like, something I wanted to name and celebrate you for is by you connecting more to yourself, you are getting more clarity on how you want to show up in this world. So you're building more trust in yourself through this practice of the Muse method so that your body knows that you will always be there for you because your body learned from what you experienced in life that everybody else was the priority. And now right now you have to be the priority. Like there is no question, right?
yes.
So like the first thing I'm thinking is thank you, body. And can we find a little bit more ease? Can we do this a little bit easier?
Yes.
So
Make it fun.
Yeah. And maybe that's where because you're like keeping it, keep using it. So
Yes.
would it support you to even just start asking yourself more questions?
Yes.
And it could look that simple of show me how to find more ease. Show me what messages you have for me. Because I'm wondering, because you said you've noticed that you're able to give yourself more grace and compassion. And I was wondering if you've noticed any more like emotions showing up, any sensations or anything else showing up as you're doing the Muse method, as your brain is staying curious.
Oh yeah, I mean something comes up new often. I
Okay.
don't know if I'd say daily, but often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's not anything it's when I say new, maybe something new that I haven't processed. It's not something new that
Okay.
I haven't ever approached, but I am processing it. Like
Okay.
my grandson that I haven't seen, his birthday was Tuesday, he turned 5. And
Mm-hmm.
then his sister is turning 7 on Saturday. And so a Disney song came on because my granddaughter was singing it. She sings and sings and sings. And the one that was here.
Yeah.
And I had gotten her a little microphone and she was in her microphone singing it. And I think I was just so overwhelmed with joy that she's in my life and that she's here at my house, even though I don't feel good and I don't feel like taking care of her.
Right.
She's here and she's my responsibility and she loves me more than anything. And she tells me I'm the best Grammy in the whole world. And she's just loving on me constantly. And um, but then a tear started coming down my eyes and I started thinking about Cannon and he's turning 5 today.
Mm,
And so even just mentioning that to you, it makes me sad, but it lasts so quickly. Like
okay.
I have my moment that I miss him, and then I look around and I'm so thankful for everything else that I'm okay.
Yeah. Can we just take a moment to be with the tears that came up that are here and just do the Muse method? And if you're open to it, we can start to also gather information from your emotions. So yes, close your eyes, connect your breath, follow your breath, connect your hands to your body as you're already doing. And now connect with those tears that are here. Connect what you're noticing in your body as you're just thinking about your grandson. And just expand as far as feels safe. Connect even with what you were naming with your granddaughter being there and singing. Connect with all that's here. And let's be here for about a minute. And I might ask a question as we're going to make our way back. And I'll be in the silence with you, just noticing what arises in our bodies, giving our brain the task to be curious. And so now we're going to practice a position to be with the tears that are here or we're here. just by bringing our hands to our heart. You can keep your hands as they are, bringing them both down to your heart with one stacked on the other or staggered, you know the way. And then just gazing down at your heart, if that feels okay, just revering the tears that were here. And let's just be here for another few seconds. And just check in and see if your tears had a message for you. What might they want you to know? And that can show up in any way, an image, a color, a sound, words.
Well, in on in honesty, like when I go quiet, I can just feel the pain in my bladder, just, you know.
Yeah.
But I tried to think past that, and the thoughts that just came out is, he's been estranged for 4 years. It's not his fault. He doesn't have to fix anything. I don't know him because I only knew him till he was 1 year old.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but one day he's going to have a choice and an opportunity to get to know us, and hopefully he will learn the truth, and just that the main thing that came out is this isn't his fault and he doesn't have to fix anything.
And I repeat that back to you, but I might shift it a little bit. This isn't your fault. You don't have to fix anything.
Right.
And what do you notice? So maybe take a moment to be with your body as I say that one more time. This isn't your fault. You don't have to fix anything. Did anything show up as I said that?
No,
Cool.
sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. That's perfect. It's just information. It could be even like, and I'm just giving you examples, like when you heard me say that, like there was a little warmth or the pain lessened or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's actually really small and soft. Tends to be. Sometimes it can be big, but usually our body whispers and the message it gives might be a little bit softer and gentler,
Yeah.
not quite as loud as the world. So, would you be willing, when the tears come up, to practice the muse method and then maybe do that reverence position with your hands on your heart, just to revere the tears and see and ask maybe what message they have for you?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they might have something, sometimes they might not, but it's just you giving them permission to be there. And what you're working on is asking yourself more questions. So, through this experience, you're practicing doing something for yourself that you'll be giving away to others.
Okay.
Does that resonate?
Yes.
Is it something that you want to play with?
I have been.
Good. Okay. So you're already doing that. So you're like, you'd like to have ideas to move forward with coaching. I guess, what would it look like by the end of our time together for that to be a success for you today?
Probably if I went away with uh some ideas of things that I could do to build my confidence in asking questions, even in just like everyday
Mm,
talks. I told you I'm in a couple support groups,
yeah.
and you know, as people feel safe and share things, that I don't freeze, that I know
Mm,
what to say in those situations. A girl last week said her husband still has his affair partner's phone number in his phone, and she asked him to get rid of it and he won't. He said no, he won't. And so she's going forward with divorce because it can't be three people in a relationship. And
yeah.
I had no clue what to say except for, I'm so sorry that you're going through this.
What if that was it, Karen?
What?
What if that was it? Was you're just acknowledging and witnessing her in that moment rather than a question?
Well, that I do that naturally all the time.
Okay, so can we acknowledge what you're already doing with ease?
Right. Yes.
And the
And I
reason,
also
yeah,
validated her and told her that she didn't deserve this. We had to, in our lesson, in our questions, we had to tell what was our identity. And she said
yeah,
that she knows her identity as being a very kind person. She's a nurse.
oh, yeah,
And I just brought out the fact that you are a kind person and you have been kind for a long time. And
yeah,
you don't have to be kind, or you don't have to, kindness isn't you neglecting what you need. And
right.
you've been kind. And so I think she was able to be like, yeah, I am kind and I've been way over kind with him. But I just wish that I was just sitting there thinking, what's a coaching question I could ask? And I couldn't think of one.
Well, I've heard you name that before, even in the text back and forth. It's the moment you ask, like, what's a coaching question? Like, it's like the scope just goes like to this, and then it's like there's no options anymore. They're gone.
Right. Yeah. And it's mainly because every question I think to ask someone is a yes no question. And I hear Kim's voice going, in my head.
And what if the yes no question is to get clarity to ask a different question?
That'd be fine.
So rather than focusing on what you're not doing, because wherever we focus is where our attention goes. What are you already doing with ease as far as like holding a space for others with coaching? And I know you're not coaching, but you were in the supportive role in that space. So what are you already doing with these in regards to that?
Well, I definitely validate these other women
Okay.
and I show empathy
Okay.
and I usually give some words of wisdom
Okay.
and I always ask them, what are you doing for you or what do you need?
Hmm. Okay, so you're already asking a question. Okay. I just want to name you're already doing that.
Well, I've been doing that for a long time, and we all do that to each other in our group. What do you need?
Yes.
It's just an easy, I mean, because the first thing when all this happens, the first thing you don't think about what you need. You think about how how to run to safety.
Correct.
Yeah.
And when you're doing those things, when you're validating, you're empathizing, you're sharing words of wisdom, and you ask the question of like, what do you need or what does support look like for you? What do you notice inside of you? And if you don't notice anything, that's okay.
Um, Probably just connection that a person doesn't feel alone because I know when you go through all that, you feel so alone.
Yeah.
And this girl comes from a church background and family background where if you get a divorce, you are a failure, stamped right on your forehead.
Yes.
And I don't want her or anyone I ever work with or friends with, because I have a lot of divorced friends who never planned to get divorced. It was not part, but they feel like a second class citizen
Hmm.
or that they will never measure up because they went through a divorce that they didn't choose, they didn't want. It was chosen for them, whether they're the ones that filed or not. I'm not saying that. I'm
Right.
saying someone was abusive,
Yes.
um, dishonest, unsafe and they had to take care of themselves. And I think in a lot of ways, I admire that so much because I wish that's what I would have done from the very
Uh,
beginning. And
yeah,
I couldn't. And instead of me doing what I needed,
yeah,
I got blamed by a pastor saying it was my fault.
yeah.
And so I just don't want them to ever think that.
So what I hear you saying, Karen, is that you're stepping in that gap, that you are able to give something that you did not receive.
Yes.
And you are also like admiring, yeah. And then you're admiring those that chose something that they needed to support them well, that you couldn't choose at that time because of the situation that was there, or you thought you couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't have. No way. I would have been excommunicated from the church, both of our families. I would have had no one.
Right. And that was not the choice for you at that time.
Well, it was, but I didn't choose it.
Right.
I I wasn't strong enough.
You were where you needed to be at that time. Because oftentimes God prepares us through our own pain. Because when you say sacrifice, it really means sacred offering. Like that's the original meaning of sacrifice, is a sacred offering. And you chose what was going to be the safest thing for you at that time. And now you can stand in that gap for other women, even though you didn't choose that. You can stand there and remind them that they're not alone, that they are choosing what is best for themselves, and they're being very kind to themselves, which is something they're able to easily give away that they don't typically receive from themselves. So, like the question that came to me when you were saying what's easy for you is, what if the questions right now are for you to deepen your intimacy with God in you so that the questions can come with ease when you move into that realm when you're ready? Does that
I
resonate?
well, I again, I feel like that's what I'm doing with this freedom
Yeah.
group that yeah, that I'm doing.
So what if this is part of your preparation for where you're going to be going, is you being with yourself and asking yourself more questions? And I even heard you when you were talking to your husband, you were asking him questions. So I'm hearing it's already there, but there's a judgment around it's not the right question, or it's a closed-ended question, and then you hear Kim in your head, "Wah," right? And so
Right.
right now what I'm hearing is the more you hear that noise of Kim, that's when I'm going to invite you to do the Muse method,
Okay.
because your brain has chosen to pick that up as truth. And that's when the freeze shows up, because every part of you shuts down in that moment. I see it when you're talking about it.
Yeah.
So you shut down. So of course your brain can't think of any questions. No, it's
Okay.
not wrong. Like
Okay.
it's like, oh, thank you, brain. I love you. We're gonna connect and expand, because you're calling back all the power from all time and space that you lost along the way, that you accidentally gave away. And you're asking for more of that now.
Is that part of the people pleasing?
Say more is what part of the people pleasing.
When I shut down, I don't feel like I can, that I can, um, maybe it's more performance. I know those are the two things I struggle with, performance and people pleasing. And, I've gotten to the point with my husband, I don't do that anymore,
Right.
very rarely. Um, to the point where I see when he does it, but I don't do it. And we used to both do it,
Right.
um, and probably fed off of each other. But okay, I forgot the question again. Sorry.
No, what you had brought in, like, is that because of the people pleasing or the performance based way? And I guess maybe I
To
don't.
ask the right question. And
Right.
so the thing that was stressed when Kim was our uh, trainer
Yeah.
was that if you ask the right questions, you will bring out everything is inside the person and you will bring it out. And that's what to me became like this huge mystery. How do I know what questions to ask? And so I started, I think I told you in the group, I would
Yeah.
write down all the questions and I would just read them because I didn't know what
Right.
question, it didn't just come naturally to me.
Well, under that umbrella, it might not because it's like it's almost what I'm hearing is it's like it's putting the right question is something out there that you have to figure out, right?
Hmm.
Versus when you're just really present with something, the spirit will God will just start to move through you and ask questions. Like I've heard you talk about this. Like have you ever had an experience where it's almost as if it's not coming from you? Like something is God is speaking through you.
Oh yeah, that happens off and on.
Right. So what if that is the way? There's an ease there. You don't have to try it all. But the moment you start to put on that lens of I've got to ask the right question, wrong, closed-ended question, that is blocking the flow of God of asking anything else from you through you. So that's the only reason I'm inviting you because you said also to build more confidence. So part of the Muse method, it happens without trying. The more you're connected to yourself, the more you're able to be yourself.
Okay.
So when you're noticing that story of I've got to ask the right question, or you hear Kim's buzzing in your head, that's your invitation to come and do the Muse method. You might need to get out of somebody's energy if you're in a group, if you're with your husband, if you're whatever. You may need to just go, I need to run to the bathroom and then go do it. Because what you're doing is you're interrupting the pattern that is currently there that's stopping questions from arising.
So you said the more you're connected to yourself, the more you what?
It begins to build more confidence naturally. It's like build lifting weights, right? You know you have to go at like, a couple days a week to build weight or to build muscle. Same thing with confidence. Think of it like a muscle, but it's an invisible muscle. You have to keep connecting to yourself. You have to keep showing up for yourself to build more confidence in yourself
Hmm.
because nobody else is going to show up for you in the way that you can show up for yourself.
Yeah.
So it happens as kind of just like a side benefit of staying connected and like expanding into more of you. Because if you're expanding into more of you, by default, you become more confident. You won't have to think about it. There won't be the trying. You're just allowing that to come through. How does that land?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can share if you'd like what my story was around this when I first started doing it.
Okay.
Was, well, that's not enough. I'm not doing enough. How is me spending 3 minutes a day connecting to myself going to make a difference? So I had to stop doing it. So I was doing it for months, all the time, 3 times a day at least. And then I stopped doing it because I'm like, it's not doing anything. I'm going to just stop. So I stopped. And at first, I didn't notice much. But then it started to accumulate because I wasn't connecting with myself. I started to have more doubt, more insecurity, started questioning myself more and more because I didn't have that foundation of being with everything that was there. And then I started like doing some of my old tendencies of people pleasing and things that I had moved away from. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, I need to stay connected because if I don't, those old influences will start to, because those are like a 6 lane highway. I know them. That's familiar. It's comfortable. I'll go back to that. This is a new way that is more like I have to carve my own path through a forest. So I have to keep staying connected so I can keep carving that path because
So
nobody else.
like,
Yeah.
so I hear what you're saying. So, um, like the other day when this girl announced that she's gonna have to leave, and she's tried to leave a couple times in the
Yeah.
last couple years. She went and got an apartment, and then when she was on a waiting list and for 6 months, and then when it came up, he love bombed her and wanted to take her and all that. She knows. She says,
Yeah.
I know it was love bombing. But, if I ask her, which I have in the past, how can I support you with what you're going through? Um, she always comes back and says, I don't know. I don't think I need supporting. I don't know what to tell. Like, I wish that, like, I knew the right thing to ask her at that time, because if you talk to her long enough, she really wants it. But she's one of these people, she is so kind, she will not inconvenience anyone. And in her mind, she's going to inconvenience you if she tells you how you can support her. But I
Right.
wish there was like a question that I could ask
Mhm.
her to bring it out.
What would you have wanted to be supported when you were going to choose the hard thing? Because that's going against everything she's known by choosing divorce, right? So that's considered the hard thing. So what would you have needed? Do you have any
To,
idea?
to Are you saying ask her that question
No, I'm asking you specifically. Like what would you need for support? Like what does support look like for you?
when she's going through this? I don't understand your question.
What does support look like for you when you've been going through this with the betrayal and what you've experienced with your husband? What have you needed for support?
Well, daily talking to someone.
Okay, what else? Tell me more.
Um, uh, Definitely not isolation, um, but just um, lots of friends checking on me, knowing that um, I'm important enough that they care to just reach out. I have a couple people that do that with me. I have one girl that calls me a couple times a week,
Hmm.
and we just lay our burdens on each other, and then we pray for one another, and then we celebrate when
Hmm.
something good happens, and we cry together when something is harmful or hurtful
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. And so she's one of these people that just she pushes people away because she doesn't want to inconvenience them.
Right. So you're asking her a question that what I'm hearing, tell me where I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is you're asking her a question that is inviting her to step outside of her way of being, which is, I don't want to be an inconvenience. So I
Yeah.
wonder, could it support her and say, hey, this is what I have needed to do what I'm doing and what I'm choosing. Would you like that kind of support?
Yeah, I could do that.
Because what
I
you're, yeah, go ahead, Karen.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like so we came out of a group of about 12 women,
Yeah.
and the four of us stayed together. And it started because I was trying to reach out to her. I
Mhm.
saw she needed someone, and I asked her, would she want to stay on? And she couldn't afford to be in the group anymore. And I said, you don't have to pay anything. What about if you decide we do, and we can invite some other people? Who do you want to invite? Well, I want to invite this one person. Well, the one person never responded to her, and that really hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
So I invited another person, and they both wanted to be in the group. So it's the four of us.
Beautiful.
And she knew them, but and she's gotten close to them. She kind of started to drift from me, and I think it's a result of my husband was doing well. So she more stuck with the people whose husbands weren't doing well, you know?
But what
And
if that's what she needs right now?
that is probably what she needs. I don't see us as anything different, but I think sometimes people going through divorce see themselves as different.
Mhm.
And for some reason, those are the people God keeps bringing in my life to minister to. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's asking permission, of course, checking with her if that's, but just checking in on her because to me, what you're doing, Karen, it's through your being. So what I'm hearing from you is through your being, like because you're doing your work, your husband's doing his work, things are starting to be repaired. I'm not saying they're fixed. They're
Right.
starting to be repaired. That trust
Yeah,
is
they
starting
are.
to be is starting to come back online.
Right.
And when you're in it, and I'll just speak from my lived experience when I was going through divorce, it was hard for me to be around others that had really good marriages or had, and I desired to be around that because it showed me what was possible. But that was because I was open. She may not quite be open. So you might be showing her something she's not ready to look at because she's in the pain.
Yeah.
It's
And I
easy
don't
to
ever
believe
talk
it.
about my husband in the group
Right.
other than if a question is asked me, I will answer it, and then
Yeah.
I move on because that is not what
Right.
our group is about.
Yes. So what if you're already being it and that presence is showing her that there's possibility in the future and that's what she needs right now. She might need more, and maybe if you ask her and say this is what helped me is having people check in on me, letting me know I was important, that I mattered without any, with no strings attached. Like
Yeah.
she could be like, "Oh, that might be nice." Because I heard you say like her friend she invited to the group, but her friend didn't come and didn't respond.
Right.
And
The
that's
girl in the group that she
painful.
connected with the most, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but it also hurts and then we suffer more. So the fact that you're there and you've continued to stand by her and create this little, um, base of a pyramid is what I'm picturing with the four corners. But you created this space, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when
I appreciate that. That's validation that I've been doing the right thing. And I have tried to not do more than she asked for, can handle. But yeah, I could always reach out and ask her, and she may still, it feels like a rejection. It's really not. It's what she needs, but you know, yeah, I can definitely do that.
and just
We're doing this book right now.
ah,
You ever read that one?
I haven't.
Because one of the girls, the younger girl in the group, I say younger, she's 44,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm 60, one girl's 65 and one girl's 70,
Yeah.
and it's a 70-year-old that's going through the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she hasn't filed yet, but because she can't figure out how to do it financially. And those aren't things I can help her with because I don't know.
And you don't have to.
Yeah. So, she's also in Tammy Gustafson. Do you know her, Tammy Gustafson? She's in one of her groups. And so I mean she's getting good information, but yeah, I just would love to, you know, I
Yeah.
don't want to see her pull away.
And one of the hardest things for us to do as humans is to trust that each person here is whole unto themselves and they are going to choose what they need to choose in that moment. So us honoring them and just letting them know you're here, even if they choose to pull away.
So I did ask her a question when we met on we didn't meet this week. But we usually meet every week. So last Wednesday when we met, she has three adult children and she's only talked with the younger one.
Mm-hmm.
And I did ask her, would you be open to, because she's so serious now about it, would you be open to discussing it with the older two? And she said, well, maybe now, but she says, I haven't in the past because I don't want to interfere with their relationship with their dad. I don't want them to come back and ever blame me for,
Mm-hmm.
she said they're close with their dad and I don't want to take that from them. But she's not taking it from them.
Right. Yeah. Well, and Karen, what we're working on, and it's interesting you're reading this book. I want to trust you, but I don't. you're working on building more trust with yourself,
Right.
which is so often we outsource our trust and somebody breaks that trust because they went against what we had agreed to. But it's also
Yep.
like trusting ourselves in that experience, which you already are.
Yeah.
The work that you're doing now is helping you, is supporting you to be a coach. You're
Yeah.
asking questions. Like, just even since we've been talking about it, you've named quite a few questions that you've asked even just this one individual. So I'm hearing you're doing it. Would you be willing to just acknowledge yourself in whatever questions you're asking, just to start to give your body more permission to ask questions?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm just frustrated because after she said that, it was just dead silent. None of us knew what to say. We didn't know how to support her.
So what if you said that? I don't know how to support you.
Yeah,
Like, what if you just name the thing?
right.
Because, Kieran, it comes back to like you
Probably because I
don't.
don't think that way. I don't think I don't know how to support you. I think I should know how to support you. Why
So
don't I know how to support you?
how does it feel when you're shitting on yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Because what if you being there and witnessing her is you supporting her?
Yeah,
And what if your brain is trying to tell you you should know how to do this? You are. But by the statement your brain gives you, it's taking away what you're already doing. Because that's what Jesus did. He didn't fix their problems. He didn't, nope. He just went and sat with them. Right? Right? I mean, and he said, I love you. And he called them by name. It's
yeah.
really
And
simple.
I just thought about this. I can always ask her, what's the next right step to do?
Yeah.
If I just had like a 3 or 4 questions like that just kind of were like, I got ingrained in me to say, what do you need right now? And try and get them
Yeah.
off of talking about their husbands so much and the
Yeah.
focus back on them.
Yeah. Well, even asking, what is that creating by focusing on your husband right now? Because what they're doing is they're putting all their power outside of them by focusing on the husband.
Yeah.
So
But that's what consumes.
right, but if you can help them to see it just by asking a question of like, oh, when I focus on him, I just keep putting all my energy into him. I'm not taking any action forward. So it's kind of like asking your question to bring the awareness back to them and asking what is it doing for them by focusing on their husband. Because
Okay.
what we're doing also by doing that, Karen, is you're not making them wrong.
Right.
You're saying,
That's what
hear
I want
you.
to do.
Right. I hear you. And what is that doing for you? Because the more they can hear themselves saying, oh my God, that's actually not helping me at all. It's doing XYZ. So,
Yeah.
how does that feel for you for this week to come up with 3 to 4 questions to start to ask? And you already
I
have
need
some
to
of
do
them.
that. I need to do that.
And these are ones that maybe you would even ask yourself, like, what support do I need? What
Yeah,
is it?
I just need like a starting, yeah.
So, finish what you were saying because it seemed like you were going somewhere. Like you need a starting.
Yeah, and I've said this to you before. I just need 3 or 4 questions to get me started and so that they can talk. Oh, by the way, my husband started with a new coach
Yeah.
and I think he's fairly new because all he didn't know what questions to ask. And I said, he didn't.
See?
He's gonna give him one more try. And if he doesn't know what questions to ask and he just sits there, he's gonna see if he can find someone,
Good.
who does
Yeah.
know.
So you said coming up with the 3 to 4 questions. So maybe if would it be supportive for you? Because you're talking to women that are in it, right?
Oh, yes.
I mean, you're still in it. Let's be real. You're still in it, but
Yep.
you're further along on the path. So
Yeah.
what questions would have helped you? So like just go back to when you were like just finding out about the betrayal. Like what questions would have helped you? We know like what support do you need? Like bringing the focus back to you would have been a good one and is still a good one. So to help you to come up with questions because you're basing it on your lived experience.
Yeah. Well, do you have certain questions for divorced people that it's good to ask them to get the focus on them?
I similar to what you said, like what would support you right now? And then I like to just be real with what they're naming. So I just honor what they're saying, and then I try to help them see it from a different perspective through asking like, cool. So what is that doing for you by focusing on your husband, your children? But I understand that's it can be sensitive, but they might start to recognize is that they are putting out all their power outside of themselves and they're making it so they don't have a choice. And the moment we don't have choice is when we're disempowered. We always have choice. We may choose differently now in hindsight, but the more we can see we have choice, like what would be the next best step you could take? You said that one.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Don't lose your power.
Well, and yeah, and just through us asking questions or through you asking questions to help them to see they have choice, you're opening up more doors of possibility. Because when they don't feel like they have choice, that's when there's no possibility.
Right. Yeah, because that's outside of them.
Right. So the more, and I'm going to come back to you with this of like you continuing to keep your focus on you. That's why, like, I was inviting you to ask questions for yourself because what you're doing is you're priming the pump so that you can ask more questions to others. So you said you've been doing that, so keep doing that. And then start to brainstorm some ideas of questions to ask. Because even like one that I've asked you when we like started doing the Muse method, like, what do you love? Like, get them bringing their awareness to all the things that they love because right now they're in the problem. So helping them to get outside of the problem to bring their awareness around like what do they love, what fills them up, where brings them joy.
Yeah. And I've asked her that before. She loves camping. Well, it's their camper together. And so that's why she won't leave him because he takes her camping.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right, there's so many other ways to go camping, but she's focused on the only solution and that will continue to be the only solution the more she focuses on that. And
And
for
that's where
you
I'm like, okay, how do I get her out of?
right now, rather than how do I get her out of that, that's not your problem. It's not your responsibility.
Well, but if I asked her the right questions, she might think about herself and not about,
Correct. But it's going to come back to you now, Karen. Your bladder is literally in so much pain. It's hard to like getting the urine, getting that out of your body is painful, right? So I'm here, like, and please, you can always tell me, nope, you're wrong. Your focus is on you right now. So this session is about you, and your focus is about these other people in these group, and how can you help them? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bring it back to you. Coming back to how can you support yourself right now, knowing your bandwidth is like nothing because your body's in so much pain.
yeah. Um, so what is the question?
I guess when are you willing? When you notice that your focus is going to help others, to fix others, to support others, coming back to you might need to do the Muse method first and then ask, what do I need? Because your brain's trying to bring the focus outside of you, which is not, it's not supporting you to move towards where you want to go.
Right.
So what do I need or what would support me? Just like the questions you would ask these other women. And it might be as simple as go take a walk. I don't know how much movement you can do right now, but go paint a picture. Go call your granddaughter and hear her sing.
Yeah. Um, well, I have given up really everything right now because I'm usually really active with my friends and going to lunch and going and walking the 3 Mile Bridge out to the beach and
Right.
walking the beach or whatever. Like I always baking sourdough bread and giving it away to people. I just don't feel like doing any of that right now. So,
Good. I'm
so
celebrating you
I
because,
haven't left my house other than um, to go to the doctor like close to a month. I did go to church on Sunday, but I didn't even know if I was going to be able. I got there, had to go to the bathroom. I got in the service, had to go to the bathroom, and
right.
then left and came home quickly because I had to go to the bathroom. I mean, I can't think about conversations. I can't think about the
Yeah.
message. I'm just thinking about my bladder the whole time because it's spasming.
Yeah. So would you be willing to listen?
Yeah, I
And
am.
so this might even look like, Karen, before you leave the house, like you want to go to church, right? Ask your body, does it support me to go to church?
Yeah. And I do. I mean, I'm supposed to go over to drive on Sunday to go hear my son-in-law's opera. And my
Right.
daughter keeps saying, "Mom, is that what you should be doing?" Well, I think because we have two estranged children, um, and they've mentioned something that we missed as they were an adult, even though we had a legitimate reason for doing. In the back of my mind, if we can be there, I just want to be there to support them.
Right.
But what if I don't feel good?
Right. Would you honor that?
Yeah. And
Because
that's the thing where I put myself on the back burner.
I heard it. So what I does this resonate? I was hearing a thread of fear because of having estranged children, and then that story that you weren't there one time when you couldn't be. So now what I'm hearing is you're making a choice from fear as opposed to this would honor me. So you can say, I want to be there. I don't know if I'll be there because your daughter's already said, Mom, is that the best thing for you? this is a this is something that we are not taught. When we honor one, we honor all. So Jesus did this with such ease. He was always honoring himself. The disciples are like, let's go here, let's go here. He's like, nope, we're going here. Nope. He honored himself because he knew if he honored himself, he was honoring everybody else that was involved. So, a question for you that I would love for you to start asking, because right now you are being invited to be very centered in self. I like that term better than selfish because I don't think you're selfish. I think you're being honoring of self. Um, is how do my choices bless everyone involved, including me? And then start to look for how it's blessing everyone involved. It might not feel like it in the moment, but you might see
Okay.
something after the fact. Does that does that resonate
Yeah.
with something you'd like to start doing?
Well, it does, but then I'm thinking I should not be going over there because don't, I won't feel good the whole time. And to drive over there, we have to stop at every rest stop to go to the
Right.
bathroom. It's just miserable.
Are you willing to listen to that?
Yes, I mean, I know that's what I need to do. Is that what I'm going to do? I don't know because I might wake up Sunday morning and feel great and want to go, and then
Cool.
get halfway there and regret it. But I do need to. I know I get upset at myself because I don't listen to my body.
Well, and it's just a way of continuing to portray yourself when you do that, like when you don't listen. It's not wrong, but it's not working anymore, and your body's getting louder and you can't deny it. So you might start to have conversations with your brain, Karen. I love you, brain, and I know you think I need to go because we don't want to lose more children, but I have to honor my body because my bladder's spasming right now and I don't really got a choice.
Right.
Like, and you can give your brain evidence, but the more that you can talk to your brain, it starts to bring more awareness to your body because your body has access to 360 degrees of information as opposed to what's in front of you. Your brain
Yeah.
is designed to protect and replicate. It's going to replicate everything you've known and it's going to protect you to keep you safe in what you've known.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that's not the way.
Right.
So, are you willing to keep doing this experiment and trying it in a new way?
Yes.
Okay. So, I guess, what are you walking away with after our time together today?
While listening to myself and then asking myself, writing down questions I would ask myself,
Okay.
and if I feel like it, if I feel good enough, asking Nancy how I can support her
Hmm.
and just being with her. Yeah.
Okay. And what would accountability look like for you with this to like start to work on these questions?
Um, I it's hard for me to think about accountability right now.
Okay. Do you want to have any sort of dates or you just are feeling good with this is what I'm going to be working on over the next 2 weeks?
Let's just do this is what I'll attempt to do over the next 2 weeks. I have it out with my
Okay.
freedom assignment, so I will be working on it
Awesome.
as I feel like it.
And let's also just acknowledge the fact that you're going to continue to keep asking yourself more questions. And are you committed to continuing to invest in yourself 3 minutes a day?
Yeah, I can do
Okay.
that. I when I'm not, I mean, when I sit there and I start to do it and I can't think of anything, then I just won't do it. But and I haven't done it. My granddaughter was here Sunday evening to this morning. She left.
Yeah.
Her other grandparents picked her up and took her over there to Baton Rouge. So, um, I haven't done it for a few days, so I get a little bit out of the habit. But thank you
Yeah.
for the reminder, and I will get back in the habit.
What would support you to help you remember, especially if others are in town or whatever? What would help you to remember to do it?
I don't know. I mean, I I do think about it now that I was on a cycle of doing it. I think about it more
Hmm.
often.
Okay. Do you need more? Like, do you need an alarm on your phone? Do you need post-its around? Do you need something to help you to remember to do it?
I could do post-its. I don't want to do alarm on my phone right now,
Cool.
but maybe if the medicine starts working, then I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay. And I'll just name, like, you're not trying to think when you're doing the Muse method. You're actually giving your brain the task of just being curious to notice what shows up in your body. Something, nothing. It's not about anything happening. It's actually just about you connecting and starting that as your foundation, which is supporting you to build more confidence, which is I know what your one of your big pieces of our working together is continuing to build confidence.
Yes.
So, and if like what kind of relationship would you have with your husband if you only invested 3 minutes a day, including texting, any form of communication with your husband? What kind of relationship would you have?
Only 3 minutes a day?
Yeah.
Not really good.
Okay, so then what kind of relationship do you have with your body? If you're not,
Yeah.
if 3 minutes a day is like, some days I remember.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to just start to build that foundation of I'm going to connect with myself because I matter.
Yes.
I'm the foundation of everything else in my life.
Right.
And investing in yourself, like I'm doing this because I matter and I'm going to do it no matter what.
Okay.
Because I know one of the things you had mentioned was like before comfort eating or before filling yourself up with like audiobooks or podcasts, doing the Muse method so that you're
Yeah, and
being full of self.
I haven't been doing that since doing the Muse.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So maybe you just play with it
Okay.
and let's just start to notice. And then let's look at for our next session. and then I'll send you the recording. I'll hit stop real quick. Um,